Charging by friction. So when you're charging by friction, it's always between two neutral objects. So in this example, we're going to be looking at the ebonite rod and the rabbit fur. So the important thing to note is when you're looking at both of the images there, they're both neutral because they have the same number of protons as electrons. So if you're wondering which one will become negative and which one will become positive, what you need to do is you need to look at the electrostatic / triboelectric series chart, and then that will help you determine which one will become positively charged and which one will become negatively charged. So when you actually do look at that chart, what you'll notice is the ebonite rod will be more likely to gain electrons, whereas the rabbit fur will be more likely to lose electrons. So your ebonite rod, since it gains electrons, it will become negatively charged after friction, and then your rabbit fur will become positively charged because it loses the electrons. So before rubbing, they're both neutral. While they're rubbing, the electrons will transfer from the fur to the ebonite rod. So after rubbing, the rod will be negatively charged and the fur will become positively charged, as you can see in the diagrams. So this is how you can get a charged object for use when demonstrating conduction or induction. And just the important thing to note is that these diagrams are crazy simplified. So there are obviously more than two protons, and there are still electrons present within the rabbit fur. It's just that the number of protons is greater than the number of electrons, making it positively charged. So just a reminder, there are three methods of charging within static electricity. There's charging by friction, where both objects are neutral, so they start out as neutral. And then the second one would be charging by conduction, so there's one object that's neutral and one that's charged. And then there's a scenario where they're both charged. And then the third one is charging by induction. So this is where there's one object that's neutral and one that's charged. And the key thing with induction is that there's actually no contact involved. So what I would suggest is, if you need some clarifications on those other two types, charging by conduction and charging by induction, feel free to watch the other videos related to those specific types of charging.